It is Sunday, the 8th of August 2021, and this t-shirt is not a truther one. This one goes out to anyone that remembers or ever attended any of the legendary Southport Weekender events. This t-shirt is from the big 50th anniversary event, and it lists every DJ that ever played on the bill since the original event in 1987 in a caravan park in Berwick upon Tweed. It was my pleasure to have been on the bill and to have DJ'd in late 1998 at the place for which the event is best known and named after, Pontins in Ainsdale, Southport. Happy memories. Anyway, down to business. I've received a lot of messages in the past few days asking, "Mark, where have you been? Are you okay? There's been no new content from you." Well, the only reason for this is that I happen to have been away with the family on a bit of a break to Pembrokeshire, close to the beautiful, magical town of Tenby, where I used to go on holiday as a kid. It was great to be back there, and it was wonderful to have a few days of downtime, leisure time, which we all need. Got a couple of breaks coming up still. I'm going to be getting back up to the Scottish Highlands, which I love, which I find so cathartic, so healing to be in that particular environment. And we've got a trip to Essex as well, some day trips to Clacton and Mersey Island. And, I'm doing all this while I can because we don't know what's round the corner. And also, these experiences are just making me realise how much value I place on freedom of movement, natural freedom to roam this earth and go wherever you choose so long as you cause no harm to another, which I never do. It is a natural born right, and it's one which is at stake and which our opponents are seeking to remove from us if their insane, maniacal Agenda 2030 project ever comes to fruition, which it won't. More on that in a video which I'll be doing in the coming days. This particular video is one mainly to remind everyone of the 8-8 meditation which I'm curating for later today. Today is the day. We're going to do it 8-8-8 style. Very important date. I've received much information about the importance of this date. It involves a Lion's Gate portal. According to this website, askangels.com, and I'll put the link in the show notes below, every year on and around the 8th day of the 8th month of the year, August the 8th, there is a cosmic alignment called the Lion's Gateway. The Lion's Gate is a time of increased cosmic energy flowing between the physical and the spiritual realms. This astrological and spiritual gateway has roots that go back to ancient Egypt, and for thousands of years has been observed and honoured as a time of great energetic influx and activation. There is a new moon in Leo today, and I'm told that this makes it a very powerful date on which to cast out your will and your intent into the universe. So the idea behind the 8-8 meditation is that at 8 p.m. tonight, British summertime, Greenwich Mean Time, London time, basically, whatever that corresponds to in whatever part of the world you may be in, as many of us as possible, hopefully a few 100,000, get our hearts, minds and souls in alignment in terms of all expressing what we wish to see manifest physically. And once again, just as a reminder, I've been told by many spiritual, psychic types and healer types that the best way to go about expressing what you wish to manifest is to enhance positivity. What you wish to see happen, not what you don't wish to see happen. That which you don't wish to see happen falls by the wayside when what it is you're willing is truth, freedom, justice, love, basically. The thriving and the flourishing of those values, those concepts, because everything is an energetic frequency. And when you're willing and expressing and aligning yourself with the energetic vibrational frequency of love and everything that goes with it, then things like evil and darkness and hate and all these dastardly plans that the evildoers have for us all cannot exist, cannot flourish in that kind of environment. I do wonder what kind of effect the meditations that we've all done so far may have had. The first one that I curated was the 661, 666 if you like. A lot of people run for cover when they hear that number. There ain't nothing evil about it. It's all to do with the will and the intent that is applied to the number. So 666 can be used for positivity, for love, for light, just as much as for evil and for darkness. Then there was the 7-7 meditation in July, and now we're on 8-8. So I do wonder what kind of effect the last two may have had in terms of the way things have manifested, in terms of how our experienced physical reality has played out. Maybe things aren't as bad as they would have been if we'd never done this. Maybe we have made a difference. Maybe we're on a different timeline than would have been the case if none of us had ever bothered. Because these frequencies that we send out, especially when they're aligned with love and light, to use that phrase, that trigger phrase, they do have power. They do have potency. This will, this intent that we're expressing is not going nowhere. It's not just dissipating into the ether like steam. It has to be having an effect. And so the two events we've done so far have to have been having an effect as well. So let's take that further. Later today, if you can, please get involved with the 888 meditation. It's not guided. There are no instructions to follow. It's merely going with your own heart, mind and soul and expressing in your own individual way that suits you, that resonates with you, that which you wish to experience. And I would like to suggest that all of us seek to bring about an improved physical situation for all of humanity. One where the values of truth, freedom, justice, love, which has been my mantra since 2020, where these values exist and thrive. So I'll leave it there. It would be great to get some feedback after today on how this experience was for people. Evidently, the June and July meditations were very powerful for some, and the energy that was experienced was very palpable. Something else which is interesting to reflect on regarding the date, the 8th of August, is my mind goes back to the so-called Tate Manson LaBianca murders of 1969, which I've covered quite extensively in some of my previous presentations. I went into it in Musical Truth Volume 1. So this event was obviously, on the surface, very horrific, very traumatic. It had a very profound effect on the mindset of the American public when it occurred back in 1969. I do have my doubts over how genuine this event was, whether it actually took place the way we're told it did. The more I look at it, the more it does bear all the hallmarks of having been a staged event, just like one of these false flag terror psyops that we get in the modern era. Way back in 1969, when you look at the photographs, when you look at the evidence, there is a lot to suggest that it may have been used, employing the use of actors, bearing in mind that Sharon Tate was a Hollywood actor. Her husband, Roman Polanski, was a well-known Hollywood director, and these events took place in the hills just above Hollywood in LA, in very close proximity to many of the studios. So I'm very open to the suggestion that these events didn't take place the way we're told they did. But nevertheless, the way they were reported in the mainstream and the effect that they had on the American mindset did tick many boxes on the wish list of the sick agenda pushers, our opponents, our evil-doing adversaries. So the date that was chosen for these events was the 8th and the 9th of August 1969. So if there is validity to this idea of the Lion's Gate portal, and this being a very powerful time, spiritually, energetically, to achieve that which you apply your will to, maybe there's more to it than these dates just having been picked randomly. Maybe the evildoers, the dark occultists behind this event, knew only too well the energetic potential of that time of the year, 8th going into the 9th of August, and they sought to tap into it. That being the case, We need to do the same. There's more of us. What we're seeking to manifest is way more powerful energetically than any of this darkness that these sick psychopaths seek to align themselves with. Just a thought there. I want to briefly address the last Good Vibrations show which I put out. This was number 196, and it involved an interview with Taryn Lee of a company called Healy. It concerned a device which uses sound frequencies, energetic frequencies, for healing purposes, according to the company. Normally, with any show that I put out, and particularly the Good Vibrations episodes, I receive very positive and very encouraging comments for the most part. There's the one or two hateful comments in there. There's the odd shill, the odd troublemaker that pops up. But by and large, it's pretty positive feedback. There was a difference with this last show in that the vast majority of feedback that I received was very negative, in some cases very hateful. And what most people seemed to be objecting to was, first of all, the price of the product that was being discussed, which was not cheap, admittedly. Very few people, it seems, would have been able to afford it. And also, the idea expressed by many that that show constituted some kind of infomercial. It was like me promoting a product rather than getting into the usual type of discussion that I do on truth/alternative type subjects. In retrospect then, on reflection, I may have made an error of judgment in putting that show out. I've taken on board what people have been saying about it, and I've now removed the show. It will be getting removed from the Good Vibrations series. The next show that I do will be numbered 196, and so the episode regarding the Healy will just be consigned to the bin from this point on. Like I say, I take on board the feedback. The intention behind the show was to put out some positive, uplifting, encouraging information and to offer people an opportunity to engage in a product which purports to heal all kinds of ailments and to align people in homeostasis with natural states of health. But like I say, maybe I misjudged this one, and I don't wish to be putting out commercials. That is never the intention behind this series, and that's why the next episode that I put out will actually be a fascinating one with a guy named Peter Stone, who's got an amazing concept underway called the Sovereign Project, which is all about self-empowerment through knowing your place in common law and knowing your place as a living, breathing man or woman in creation, and aligning yourself with the natural rights that therefore come to you. So that's going to be the new Good Vibrations episode 196 with Peter Stone. Watch out for that in a few days. I will be putting a new video out in a few days before the end of the week. I try and do one of these once a week at least when I can. Obviously, when I go away, I'm not able to do it so frequently. But in a few days, I'll be putting out another video addressing more current affairs and getting into things that have been happening more recently. And I'll also read out a few excerpts from the mailbag. So the next video will be before the end of the week. In the meantime, if you catch this show in time, wherever you'll be in the world, at 8 p.m. London time today, the 8th of August, 888, do participate if you can in this mass meditation. And let's continue to express our will for truth, freedom, justice, love. Because evil doesn't fare too well in those kinds of circumstances.